Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, this is Max with Mura Tech Talk. I'm back with another video, and it's been a little while. So, life does happen every now and then. But I'm back, and it's not quite the new year yet, but we have a few more days in 2021, and I wanted to make this video because I'm one of the folks that bought a Pixel 6 at launch back a couple months back, and I do have some thoughts. Now, for those of you that don't have a Pixel phone or haven't been following, just to recap what is currently going on, the last security update I have on my Pixel 6, which I'm recording this from, is back in November, the November 5th security patch. There was a December patch that was promised to fix almost 100 issues or so with the Pixel 6 series, the 6 and the 6 Pro. Previous Pixels, like the 5A, the 5, the 4A 5G, and the 4A, they got their updates on time. I believe it was second week December, and first or second week. And then supposedly the Pixel 6 was supposed to get their updates, the 6 and the 6 Pro, the week following. And that happened for a few individuals, and then suddenly reports were coming out, people weren't getting their updates, and then a few days went by, weeks, and now here we are on the cusp of the new year of 2022, and we still don't have updates. And 9 to 5 Google just put out a news report that Google acknowledged that we won't be getting a December update for the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. It's going to get roped into the January update, with the promise in a few weeks that we'll have the updates ready. I just want to say up front, it's not a good look. You know, for a company that has in the past had a pretty good track record of getting their updates out at the beginning of the month. And it's just not happening right now for this series. I do hope they figure out whatever's causing the issue, but from my own personal experience, I can tell you the problems I've been having with this Pixel 6. One of the biggest problems I have is periodic interruptions of cellular connectivity. And not because there's lack of signal, because my spouse, she has an iPhone 13 Pro, and she doesn't have these issues. So this is something I believe specific to this device, but not everybody's experiencing it, so I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. And a secondary thing, this phone I have is the second one. I had these connectivity issues from the beginning with my first phone, so I thought maybe there was a hardware defect. So I went back to T-Mobile, exchanged it for another one, a brand new one. I was still within my return period, so I said, hey, this is happening. Not only to give me a new phone, I also got a new SIM card to eliminate the possibility that the SIM card was the issue. And as soon as I booted up the phone, I made sure all the software updates were in place, and still I would have periodic interruptions in cell service. Or it would say I have full signal and I wouldn't be able to make calls, send texts, or connect to the internet. Now, again, I don't know how widespread this is. You know, it's enough to where they're getting complaints on their forums about it, but I don't know an exact number. I don't know how many of these phones were sold domestically here in the United States as well as abroad, but it must be a significant enough body of people that they have an initial patch for December that had almost 100 fixes. So thankfully, connectivity to the cell network is included in those fixes. I'm hoping they get this right. But honestly, it's as long as they were hyping this phone, it's just I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed because they've done better than this in the past. Now, hardware-wise, value-wise, I still think this is a great phone. and it has the potential to be a good, I should modify that. That has the potential to be a great phone for people that are having these software issues. I really hope they are addressed in the January update. And I do acknowledge that there are folks out there that haven't had these issues, and I don't have the knowledge or expertise to explain it. I believe there are people that don't have issues, and I also believe there's a large body of people that are having these issues. And weird things too, not just cellular connectivity issues, the things with the screen rotation getting stuck, or touch responsiveness on the screen, or just weird glitches. And this partially could be Android 12 just being buggy right now. But I also think it's because it's a new chip. It's a new chip platform with Google. They're not using Qualcomm anymore in their new flagships. They're using their Tensor chip, and it's still an ARM processor, but it's different enough that it's causing these issues, I guess. So, what I would recommend if you are looking at the Pixel 6 or the 6 Pro right now, exercise some caution because there are a lot of people apparently having these issues. I will say though, if you do decide to get this phone and you're problem free, you're good to go. But if you are experiencing even some issues at the beginning, I would caution you exercise your right to return it. At least in the United States, it's mostly most retailers 14 or 15 days. Best Buy has some different return models. I don't know if it necessarily applies to phones, but if you're an Elite Plus member with them, they have extended return times. And I also don't know if the holiday return time's affected, but I digress. Like I said, you have your 15-day return period, essentially 2 weeks. And I would say if you're experiencing any of those issues, maybe consider returning it until they're resolved. That's just my personal opinion. But again, if you don't have the issues, keep it. It's a good phone. It can be a good phone. It undercut Samsung by a lot with their flagship series. You have the Pixel 6 at $599, which is, for the hardware, it's a good price. I would argue that the 6 Pro is a good price too at $899 starting. That goes up if you get the higher tiered storage options, but it's a good value. It's a good value phone, and that's what makes this harder for me at least, because I believe it can be a good phone if they get these software issues ironed out. That being said, as of right now, for me at least, and I'm sure for many others, they're just not. And if you're like me and you are outside of your return window, which I am, I have to wait this out. I'm not in a position where I can buy a new phone right now. It's just the way it is. So that's my recommendation. If you're looking at this phone, try it. If you have issues, I highly suggest returning it until they fix these issues. If you're outside the return period, hopefully the January update addresses most, if not all, of these issues. I hope they do. Because honestly, this is my biggest fear. If I have a cellular connectivity issue during an actual emergency where I need to dial for 911 or call for help, I don't need that happening right in that moment. And it happens frequent enough that it's a possibility. The few minutes it takes me to restart the phone to fix it could make all the difference in that kind of scenario. And honestly, for me, that's what bugs me the most, is that there's a persistent issue like that. I can deal with other bugs as they get ironed out, but the cellular connectivity for calls and texts, those are essential functions. And honestly, for it to go this long and they've still not addressed it is a problem for me. So, Google, please. I don't think you're going to watch this because I'm a sub 1,000 subscriber channel here, or sub 500 even. But I hope you do address this issue. And for those folks out there that can't return this phone right now, hold out a little bit longer. I hope they fix this in the next update. I hope it's resolved. So let me know if you're having these issues with this phone. If you own a Pixel 6 or 6 Pro, I'm curious, genuinely curious. I'm on T-Mobile with the Pixel 6 and I'm having these issues. So let me know what y'all think. If you don't have issues with your phone, you are very lucky. You're very lucky. I enjoy the phone for what it is. It's a great phone. These issues for me need to be addressed for me to continue wanting to use this phone. I honestly don't have a choice. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. And have a Happy New Year.